everybody, welcome back to Tom Tries. I'm your host Tom, and we are on the conclusion of our Night of the Zealot in the Arkham Horror, the card game campaign. So let's just get right into it, shall we? Part 3, The Devourer Below. After a frantic nighttime search throughout Arkham, you have tracked down and questioned several members of the cult. Your findings are disturbing. They claim to worship a being known as Underhoth, a monstrous entity from another realm. You were able to confirm much of Lita's story. The cult is agitated over the destruction of a ghoul lair. However, a surprising detail also turns up. The one who invaded the lair and set this night's events into motion was none other than Lita Chandler herself. You're not sure why this important detail was omitted from Lita's story. Did she tell you only as much as was necessary to draw you into her conflict? But in another light, she seems to be fighting to protect the city of Arkham from a terrible menace. The final piece of the puzzle was found written in a journal possessed by one of the cultists. It describes a dark ritual to be performed deep within the woods south of Arkham this very night. According to the journal, the ritual's completion will open a gate and bring forth the cult's dark master into this world. The cult cannot be stopped, Lita warns. There's a possibility that Underhoth's vengeance will consume all in its path. Frightened but determined to stop the ritual, you head into the woods. So we've taken care of the encounter deck. We have our main path, 4 random Arkham woods out of 6. I've just got the other 2 tucked away into there. We've got ritual site and Underhoth cards set aside out of play. We randomly chose one of the following 4 encounter sets: Agents of Yogg-Sothoth, Agents of Shub-Niggurath, Agents of Cthulhu, or Agents of Hastur. I don't know what's in there. We went randomly. And then we had to check the number of names recorded under Cultist Who Got Away. We had 3, so we have to place 2 Doom on Agenda 1A. We have a new Chaos token into the bag for the remainder of the campaign. Our campaign log, if it is past midnight, it is not. And if Ghoul Priest is still alive, which he is not, took care of him in the first act. So let's check the agenda. We're already halfway to this first one going off. From interrogating members of the conspiracy within Arkham, you have learned that they are performing a rite of vengeance in response to the destruction of one of their master's lairs. You've entered the woods outside of Arkham to try to stop them. The woods seem unnaturally cold and filled with a deathly silence even. So that starts at 2, a little rough. And investigating the trail. Our Act 1 requires 3 clues per investigator. The evidence you gathered has led you to the woods south of Arkham, where you believe a ritual to summon a being called Underhoth is about to take place. Feeling your resolve, you set forth deeper into the woods, hoping to find the site of this ritual. Alright, that is what we know. Let's get our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 resources. We have shuffled 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, in the round, remember we skip the Mythos phase on the first turn. We've got our evidence, which is good. After we defeat a monster or an enemy, we discover a clue at our location. We have a knife, a barricade that we can attach to our location. Non-elite enemies cannot move into the attached location. We've got hyper awareness. Once again, this was a great one early on, and we picked up a new Elder Sign amulet. Ooh, okay. And we do need to check out the main path here. Hangman's Brook separates Uptown from the woods south of Arkham. Passing over the small bridge, you follow the main path deeper into the forest. So this has a shroud value of 2. Main path is connected to each other woods location, and we can resign. Nothing we can do to stop them. We flee from the woods, leaving Arkham to its grisly fate. Ooh, definitely don't want to do that if we can help it. So, with our 5, our Elder Sign amulet can take 4 horror from us as a trinket at a cost of 2, and we also really want to get this hyper awareness out, because we can spend 1 resource to get +1 for a skill in both agility and willpower. I always forget this. And intellect. There we go. Knew it was there eventually. And the Elder Sign Amulet's good. It's got 2 things we can sacrifice it for, but if we attach it as a trinket, it gives us 4 allowance of 4 more horror, which that's where Roland really struggles. That's why I wanted to pick that up. You know, let us. So our first action, we are gonna spend 2 to get our hyper awareness out. We now have the hyper awareness talent. First action is done. We could also just throw on the Elder Sign while we're right here, or we can get the knife. Actually, maybe let's do both. It's gonna cost us all of our resources to do. So we're gonna get the knife out, the Elder Sign out for both actions. Should resolve them one at a time, but yeah, I'm kind of crazy like that. What can I tell you? So we've got everything out, which is nice. We haven't moved, which is a little scary, but hey, what can you do? The end of our turn, there are no enemies. So investigation phase is over. Enemy phase, there are none. We go to the upkeep, we reset our actions, and flip it as always. Ready all exhausted cards, none are. Each investigator draws 1 card and 1 resource. And cover up into our threat area with 3 clues on it. When you would discover 1 or more clues at your location, discard that many clues from cover up instead. Ugh, that's rough. That's not something we wanted to see right away. Oh boy, this got a lot harder. So we go, so we're done on that. We go to the Mythos phase. This is getting its 3rd out of 4. We check to see if it goes over. Obviously it does not. Now we need to do an encounter. We got Dreams of Rala. Revelation, put Dreams of Rala into play in your threat area. You get -1 willpower and -1 sanity. Oh boy. At a test of 3, you succeed. Discard Dreams of Rala. Interestingly enough, this -1 sanity, but it doesn't tell me to take 1 horror. Huh. Let me see what that is. Is that a mental trauma? Alright, 18 sanity. Horror tracks the harm that's been done. And a card takes horror, that's fine. In campaign play, an investigator that is defeated by taking horror equal to his or her sanity. Oh, okay. So we now have a sanity value of 4, is all that means. All right. Oof. Okay, and we have to test willpower to get rid of it. It's a little rough for us. Okay. Play comes to us. And the worst part is our willpower gets dropped to a 2 for that, and we need a 3 to get rid of it. All right. Well, we don't have an enemy in play, and we need to royally get rid of those clues to get rid of cover up. Okay, so we're gonna move to Arkham Woods over here at the top left. Growing up, you were always warned to stay out of the woods at night. Now you know why. We found the old house. This location is investigating using willpower instead of the skill indicated by the investigation attempt. A house waits at the edge of the trail, covered in vines. Inside, the walls and floors are blood-stained and littered with dirt, mud, and discarded bones. It starts with 1 clue. Shroud value of 2. And sadly, yeah, we have to test willpower to be able to try to grab it. So I think we will go right ahead. So we are at 2 right now because of the Dreams of Raleigh. We're gonna get rid of our barricade. Need a new spot for discard. You'll just go right there. So we're at a 3. Let's see what we get. Zero, perfect. We do pick this up, but instead of picking this up, that goes away. So we have moved, we have done that. We now go to our next action. You know, I think we're just gonna do this again. So we're at a 2. We are at the shroud value, which is rough, especially if we get a minus. Oh, what is this? -5. If there's an ancient enemy one in play, reveal another token. Oh wow, we critically failed that. Yeah, that was the new token that we just threw in. So we moved and we test. That is our turn. Go ahead and grab a new resource, new card. No enemies in play, so we're just kind of skipping right over that phase. Everything's all ready to back up. We got Mind Over Matter, an event. Only during your turn until the end of the round, you may use your intellect instead of your combat and agility. Lost to 1 resource, not bad. Oh, this is gonna get its 4th doom, and it will flip over. So let's see what we got going on. Throughout the woods, a shrieking cry echoes. From somewhere deeper in the forest, a score of hideous voices answer the call. Inhuman is the baying of hounds, and yet articulate, repeating a singular name. Underhoth. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top until a monster enemy is discarded. On that enemy at the main path, then place 1 doom on that enemy. So, let's get that done before we read the next. Oh, alright, we got a monster on the main path who gets 1 doom. It's a Ghoul Minion. Not terrible. Got a 2/2. And the ritual begins. The chanting builds in intensity, echoing into the cold air of the night. Sparse clouds in the sky coalesce above the Arkham woods, blotting out the faint light of the stars. Each enemy gets +1 fight, 1 evade. Ugh. Takes 5 for that to go over. The good news is we are pretty strong, which is good. I wish he would come over with us so we could discover that clue a little bit easier. Because I mean, we could move, which would engage him with us, move back, and then fight him. It's going to cost us a health and sanity to do it, but our power would help us get rid of these. That might not be a bad idea. All right, yeah, let's actually do that. So our first action, we're going to move back to here, which is going to get our Ghoul Minion to attach to us. We are going to move back to the Arkham Woods, which will give him an attack of opportunity. He now has done 1 damage and 1 horror. And we're going to put the horror right onto the Elder Sign Amulet. And now for our third action, we are going to fight this little dude and see how we can do. Okay, so, ooh, this will be nice. We should actually be able to clear cover up this turn if we can get rid of the enemy altogether. So let's see what we can do first. We are going to, so we are at a 4 versus a 3 due to the card. If we discard the knife, we get +2 for this attack, and I think we're gonna do that. So we are at 6, because now if we hit him, we do 2 damage. So 6 versus 3, and you know something, I will even discard Mind Over Matter. Make it a 7 versus 3. We do 2 damage if we hit. Ooh, an Elder Sign. +1 for each clue on that location. So we're golden on that. Ghoul Minion is going to be defeated. Put him on our little victory pile. And this needs to actually come over here. So Ghoul Minion in our victory array display. And so we dealt 1 for hitting it, and we dealt 1 for the knife that was discarded. And our power, after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. So we'll get rid of cover up. And we will do, after you defeat an enemy at a resource cost of 1, evidence, discover 1 clue at your location, which will get rid of that, which will finally knock out cover up. Now we can start playing the game normally. That's all 3 actions for this turn. There's no enemies out as we just took care of him. We get our, so enemy phase is skipped. We come to the upkeep. Everything's ready back up. You know, I don't flip that. And we have a flashlight available. That's actually not bad. It knocks the shroud value down by 2, which could royally help us out. Now we go to the Mythos. Now it has a 1 of 5 on it. And encounter Grasping Hands. Test agility. Each point you fail, take 1 damage. Our agility is at 2 and we need to beat a 3. Have nothing else. Oh, if I spend one resource, I can give us +1 for the skill test. So we are at 3 to start. Yeah, we do. Oh, that's a 4. Because of the clue onto here, we take no damage today. Get away, you creepy grasping hands in the woods. Decaying hands rise up from below and claw at your ankles, digging through the floorboards of the old house in the Arkham woods. Alright, so play comes back to us. Well, I don't have enough to spend on the flashlight, I'm afraid. We are at a 2 versus 2 into the Arkham woods. Doesn't help us out the most. Ooh, do we just try for it, or do we move to another area and hope we don't have to deal with willpower? It cost us a bit to do it. So yeah, let's go 1. And we'll come down to this corner for 2. So Arkham Woods. Ouch. Ouch. After you enter this location, test willpower. If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror. We found the unhallowed ground in the woods. And this gets 1 clue. We need to test willpower out of 2. Odds are we're not going to make this one. -1. So we are taking 1 damage, 1 horror, which we're going to put right onto the amulet. Oof. Okay. On the plus side, we can actually test our... Ooh, that's not actually that helpful. Because this is at a fight of 4. I don't like this area. I really don't. Almost want to stay here, take a resource, just so we can, because otherwise, so if I get rid of this, we're at a 4, fighting against a 4 before a modifier. There is much more bad than good in there, and I don't know. Wow, we've done nothing right now. We've got that Dreams of Rothli that's working against us. I think we're just gonna move to the main path. Was it a great actually, do we want to try to just stay here, get that taken care of? Yeah, okay, we're gonna generate a resource. That'll be our last action. So yeah, because you can draw 1 card or gain 1 resource, so that's what we're gonna do. That ends our turn. We go to the enemy phase. There are none currently out. We go to upkeep. Only thing we need to do is grab one of those, and ooh, the research librarian. And we now go to the Mythos. This is now at 2 of 5, so it does not go over yet. Let's check. We got Ancient Evils. Place 1 doom on the current agenda and cause this to advance. Knocked forces against you, and if you do not act quickly, a sinister plot will be fulfilled. Oh boy. We are very much falling behind. Play comes back to us. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna spend the 2 resources to get the flashlight out. This has 3 uses. We can spend one of its supplies to investigate. Your location gets -2 shroud for this investigation. We're gonna go right ahead and do for our second action to investigate. We are at a 3. I could make it a 4 if we spend our last resource. I would like to do that. So we are at a 4 versus a 2. If we get it. Ooh, a -4. We do not get it. That was our second action. Our third, we're gonna do the same thing again. Get rid of the 1. We need to beat a 2. We're only at a 3. We do. And a critical fail. Okay. Okay, bad round. Very, very, very bad round. That ends our turn. Here, I'll actually flip it over. Maybe the game doesn't like me because I'm doing that. So we go to the enemy phase. None are currently out. We will flip this back over in the upkeep phase. Get our 1 and 1. Hey, we got a dodge for when an enemy attacks. And we go to the doom. We may have to consider backing out of this one. We're probably not going to be able to stop it. We need 3, and we don't have 1 yet because we had to spend all that time to get rid of our cover up. This is a little rough. All right, so we place the 1 onto there. It does not pop as it needs 5. we now get Dissonant Voices Revelation. If this gets played into my threat area, I cannot play assets or events at the end of the round. That goes away. Okay, so that's not terrible, minus I'm sitting on an asset and event over here. No, and I can't. Well, I should be able to use if I already have. I figure play means the actual play action. Yeah, it's not activating an ability. It does legit say play on there. So I will assume that's what it means. Do we try to do this one again? I feel like... Oh, alright, we're just gonna run a 1 to 2 to this one up here in the corner. We got Cliffside. This location is investigated using agility instead of the skill indicated, which is great for us as we have terrible agility. Okay, and this gets 1 placed onto it. Well, if I spend this, I can put it up to a 3, or I could do this, make it a 2 versus a nothing. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so 2 versus a nothing. Let's see how we do. This needs to get shaken up. 2 versus nothing. Oh, a critical success. +1 for each clue on your location. So we actually gain, we get something for once. Oof. All right. Well, flashlight is empty. That's gonna go away. The end of the round. We're about there. So that was our third action. Here, you know something? We'll flip that over. This is gonna come over to here. We actually this stays out just for a half second. We enemy phase, none are out. We'll flip ourselves back over. This is gonna come out at the end of the round. You actually come up to here. Think that's it, except for we need a supply and a new card. Ooh, Guard Dog. An enemy attack deals damage to Guard Dog, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. Not bad. Not bad. And is considered an ally, but cost of 3. We currently can't get it out, which is a little bit of a shame. So here's the downside. We go to the Mythos phase. This is gonna pop at 5. The dark presence approaches, and you are assaulted by invisible pressures that bring you to your knees. Terrible force threatens to invade your mind and soul. Your throat clenches and your eyes water as the sensation burns through you. Player order: each investigator must test willpower. Each investigator who fails must search the collection for a random basic madness weakness and add it to his or her hand. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some digging here in a second. There's nowhere we're passing this. -1, yep. So that puts us at a 1. So, it's gonna be a second so I can get the collection. Need to get a madness weakness. All right. So, we'll pick out hypochondria at random. Get that shuffled. Oh, it gets added to our hand. Oh, goody. So this just comes straight out. Hypochondria to our threat area. After you take 1 or more damage, take 1 direct horror. And for an action, discard a hypochondria. Actually, that is for 2 actions. Okay, this is helpful. And what do we got going on here? The world begins to shift and change as the ritual nears its conclusion. The air grows chilly. The entire forest is covered in a layer of rime. Trees bend unnaturally and their shadows lengthen into weird shapes. Of course, when this agenda advances, the investigators are at Act 1, put the set-aside ritual site into play, and spawn the set-aside Underhoth there. Investigators are Act 2. Act 3, discard all enemies at ritual site and spawn the set-aside Arkham There. Oh boy. Okay, that's not good. Part of me almost wants to take the resign action. Oh, so we can survive. So we are not in a good way. All right, so play is now to the encounter. Revelation test. Our willpower, which is a 2. We need to beat a 3 for each point you fail by. Take 1 horror. This may just straight up kill us. We are gonna spend our dodge to get 1 more willpower in this test. So we're at least at a 3 versus 3. And a critical success. Nothing happens. Oh, thank goodness. I thought we were taking horror for sure. Now it's on to our turn. I really wish we could at least get past Act 1. I don't think we're gonna. Which is rough. So let's 1, 2. We'll explore this at least. Of course, when you move out of this location, test intellect. If you fail, cancel the effects of the move. The Shroud of 3 has a clue of 1 onto it. Alright, so what can we do? Okay. So we are that shroud value of 3. Alright, well, fall down to this. So we move 2, we get 1 crack at this. Oh, what does this mean? -3 if there's a monster enemy at your location, you take 1 damage. So we fail. Don't make it on. That sadly already ends our turn. No enemies into play. We need to do 1 of these, followed by 1 of those. Ooh, physical training. We can spend 1 resource to get 1 fight, or 1 combat, or 1 will. We need to get this out. This, I don't think it's gonna save ourselves, but hey, it feels better than nothing. All right, we could have used hyper awareness to give us 1 more. Well, I should have, but oh well. That wouldn't have changed anything anyway. We go to the Doom. This gets 1. Mythos phase. This gets place 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy if there are no cultist enemies in play. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist enemy. I'll just go from the bottom like we did before. Humanoid Ghoul Monster. Deep 1. Cultist Acolyte. It is spawned at an empty location. After it enters play, it gets 1 Doom placed upon it. So here's what I think we'll do with that. I think I'm gonna spawn him at the Arkham Woods, because it has to be an empty location. Sadly, I can't just dump him on top of us here. And it gets 1 Doom when spawned. And now it's our turn. Now, for us to be able to move out of here, we have to test will, or test intellect. I could spend 1 to at least, because we have to beat a 3 to get out of here. So I could spend this to give us 1 extra. We need the clue. We need the clue before we go over. So, all right, let's test for the clue. We are gonna spend 1 of these to put us at a 4. We are going to... Oh, we actually pulled this off. All right, so we got 2 of our 3 for the investigating the trail. Now we're going to try to move out of here. I'm going to put us at a 4 start. Need to beat 3 to get out of here, to try to move to the main path. It is a -3, so we cancel the move. And I will hyper awareness 1 last time to try to get out of here. So we were at a 4. That puts us down to a 2. We do not get to move out of here. Oh boy. Yeah, this twisting paths. I'll tell you what. All right, that wraps up our turn. There is an enemy in play, but it does not move. Doesn't have the hunter keyword, so he's gonna stay at the old house. We go to the upkeep. We'll get a new one of these and a new one of these. Ooh, emergency cache. 3 supply. That's good. Mythos face. This is now up to a 3 out of 5. That's delightful. And we get a Ghoul Minion jumping onto us. He doesn't have a spawn location, so gonna definitely jump onto our heads. Oh, if only we were anywhere else first. That would have been nice. And with our hypochondria, we need to take care of it first. So, we are currently up. Do I have anything that can deal some more damage? No. Oh, this is not good. All right, so it has a fight of 3 because of our card up here. Oh, actually, that disappeared. Yay, it has a fight of 2. We have a fight of 4. Let's see how we do. So we're gonna try to fight the Ghoul Minion. -5. All right, so we fail miserably. I'm trying to remember if we fail on the attack, if it does damage to us or not. Let's see, attack. Page 12 of our rulebook. Fight. No damage is dealt to the attacked enemy. Fails. If an investigator fails this test against an enemy that is engaged with another single investigator, may find an enemy at his or her location. Oh, okay. So it doesn't attack anyone else because there's no one else here, so it doesn't just smack us around, which is good because we would have taken an automatic horror due to our hypochondria. So that was our first attempt to smack the Ghoul Minion. Our second attempt to smack the Ghoul Minion with a -4. And our third attempt, so we're at a 4 versus 2. We now finally at least do 1 damage to it. Yay, that'll be good here in a second, I say sarcastically. As we go to the enemy phase, he's going to deal 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be enough to... So, he'll deal 1 damage, get us to 3. Going to deal 1 horror, but we have hypochondria. After you take 1 or more damage, take 1 direct horror. So we're going to put it on to the Elder Sign Amulet, which will take it out of commission. That's all right. We'll live with that. Acolyte doesn't move. We now get a resource and draw a card. Ooh, police badge. Ooh. Well, if we can take on that ghost ghoul, that'll help us out, but I don't know if we're going to be able to survive that long. Let's see. We go to the Mythos phase. This is now at 4 of 5. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. We now encounter there's 1 doom on the current agenda. This can cause the agenda to advance, which it does. So forced. If the investigators set aside, if we're at Act 1, which we are, we put the ritual site into play. And spawn the Underhoth there. So it's a hunter massive. +4 health per investigator force at the end of each investigator turn. Ready, Underhoth. Control lead to Chandler. Only after her, you throw lead into Underhoth in order to spare your lives. Oh, that would be that'd be delightful. Okay, so we now flip this. Devourer below. Replace the current act and agenda with the Devourer below. This card is both the current act and current agenda. This now goes away. If Underhoth is defeated, R2. I don't think that's gonna happen. Because it has 10 health and a fight of 5. That's that's not good for any of us. Plus side, it doesn't say anything about we don't have any more doom to add anywhere, which is delightful. So maybe we just fight till we die. See what happens. Oh, Underhoth is also massive and deals. Oh, that can pretty much one-shot us. Okay, this is good. Hey, play comes back to us, and we are going to try to attack the Ghoul Minion. We are at a fight of 4. To get rid of this, it'll be 5, 6, 7. Let's see, what do we need to test to get out of here? All right, so let's just put it at 6. We'll drop this here, so we're at a 6 versus a 2. We are successful against the Ghoul Minion. We would have been able to grab another clue with her power. It doesn't really matter right now anyway, because the only way to win is killing this creature, which I don't think gonna happen if we're being real honest with ourselves. We are gonna attempt on our second to move out of here to the main path. We need to test our we need to test our intellect and have to beat a 3 to do it. We're at 3. We're gonna make this a 4. Sacrifice this using hyper awareness to put it at 5. Please let us out of here. Skull X the number of monster enemies in play. There is none. Humanoid, cultist, ancient one, elite. It's fine with us. So we actually do flee, and our last action, we're gonna resign. We're gonna take the resign action. There's nothing we can do to stop them. You flee from the woods, leaving Arkham to its grisly fate. Well, I mean, we could jump to here. And at least on this we go out swinging, right? I kind of the same thing happens no matter what we do. No, let's take the resign. All right, this may have a funnier ending anyway. So we're taking the resign. We got bullied pretty early. What do we have? If no resolution was reached, oh, this probably would have happened anyway. Too frightened to face her fate, Lita flees into the night. She realizes that she has failed Underhoth's vengeance, and Underhoth's vengeance will pursue her wherever she goes. The creature's tendrils spread throughout the city of Arkham, searching for her. It lurks in the darkness of every corner, tugging at the seams of reality. Lita is nowhere to be found. The creature dwells in the shadows to this day, searching, killing. In our campaign log, record that Arkham succumbed to Underhoth's terrible vengeance. Each surviving investigator is killed, and the investigators lose. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, but hey, you know something? We had fun at the end of the day. So yeah, that is the Night of the Zealot. At the end of the campaign, the experience, trauma, weakness granted by the final scenario resolution allow the players to feel the full consequences of our actions. We met the investigators, many decisions and actions as recorded in the campaign log, form the outline of our story. So Arkham succumbed to Underhoth's. That our house is still standing though. We have that going for us. We interrogated 5 cultists. Only a couple got away. We got hit hard in that early one. With everything going on. There may have been something else we needed to add. Nope, house is still standing. I was just trying to see if there's anything else we needed to add. Yeah, because yeah, we at least took out the Ghoul Priest. There's something for that. Oh, but that Hive 5 with 10 health and hits for 3 health, 3 horror, which would straight up kill us pretty quick. Because if we take 1 damage with our hypochondria, that cover up is awful. And actually, I kind of want to see. We would have gotten there's collection for each enemy recorded in the got away. Spawn those at the main path. Investigator enters the ritual site. Oh, so we would have had to try to get to the ritual site. Just trying to see what we would have had to do to try to stop him. Spend 1 clue to test that or that. If you succeed, place 1 clue. If there are 2 clues per Investigate. Wow. Would have been rough. Would have been real rough for us to try to get through. Just because there wasn't. So what did the ritual site? Oh, well, we could have at least gotten 2 clues. Could have gotten 2 clues there at the end of the round if there are fewer than 2 clues per investigator on the ritual site. Oh, add clues to it. So that's what makes disrupting the ritual a little bit easier. We you know, with our power and the enemies that would have shown up, we may have had a shot at it. But yeah, we got really bullied on early on. That cover up absolutely destroyed us. We got that so early, and it forces us to sit out of 3 of those. So we had to sit for way too long. But hey, it's a card game. It happens. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, thank you for giving it a thumbs up. Okay, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And thank you if you made it through all 3 of our videos. Rule mistakes probably happened. I'll be honest. I'm a little terrible on rules some days, but hey, hopefully you had some fun. Subscribe to the channel for more board game content. I still have 2 one-off scenarios of Arkham Horror that I'd like to do. We may do one of them next week. We'll see how we're feeling. But until next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.